On the eastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula, where the endless expanses of desert meet the Indian Ocean, lies the Sultanate of Oman. Over many thousands of years, maritime trade in the ocean was dominated by the seafaring expertise of this country's people. How many people have not heard of the tale of Sinbad the Sailor? But how many people know that the legend is grounded in the seagoing adventures of the Omani folk? As early as the 8th century, Omani merchants would regularly travel across the 7 seas, from Oman as far as China, where dates would be exchanged for porcelain and silk. By the middle of the 19th century, Oman's maritime trading empire was centered on the legendary island of Zanzibar. Almost a century later, in 1970, when the 30-year-old Sultan Qaboos assumed power, an unprecedented campaign of modernization began under the young Sultan. Through targeted investment of revenues from the country's oil industry, within a few years, Oman was transformed into an attractive modern state. "90% of the country's inhabitants are of the Islamic faith. Here, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad make up the state religion. The mosque forms an integral part of everyday life in Oman. Mosques are places of prayer, schools for religious study, places to congregate and meet together. Here we meet the companion of our journey, Juma al-Maskari. Juma's life mirrors the history of the country, situated as it is between tradition and the modern, between Arab and Western cultures. An Omani born on the island of Zanzibar, he has lived for the last 30 years in Germany, but in his heart he has always remained an Omani.
Für mich, ich kann keine Leben vorstellen ohne Religion, ohne Islam, weil der erfüllt meine Seele. Das ist für mich.
For myself, I cannot imagine a life without religion, without Islam, because it fulfills my inner spiritual needs. There is the force of habit, with the prayer times, and this need for inner peace, and to be able to switch off. If you miss a prayer, you really feel deep down that you've missed something spiritual. Since time immemorial, followers of the most varied branches of the Muslim faith have lived peacefully alongside one another in Oman. The majority of Oman's Muslims are neither Sunni nor Shiite, but Ibadi. This religious persuasion is widely unknown, not only in the Western, but also in the Islamic world. The philosophy of the Ibadis is founded on the principle of religious tolerance and the avoidance of conflict and violence. In the country's mosques, Sunnis and Shiites pray alongside Ibadis as a matter of course. The communal prayer to God recognizes no theological dispute. Before God, each individual must answer for himself. You can even recognize Ibadis by their posture. When at prayer, they let their arms hang at their sides. After prayer, the children of Oman gather in the Quran school. Here, they not only learn the Quran by heart, but also an interpretation of the Quran suited to modern times. This lays a foundation for Islam to remain in the future the basis of life in a modern world. Teaching the literary qualities of the Arabic language, along with everything from good behavior to moral values, also forms an important part of the Quran school's curriculum. The country's largest mosque stands here in Muscat. The Sultan Qaboos Mosque will accommodate up to 20,000 believers. 6 times a week, in the morning, the mosque is open to non-Muslims, who are requested to observe the rules regarding modest dress and are free to explore this architectural masterpiece.
There are prejudices equating Islam with fundamentalism or even terrorism, but these are of course false. The vast majority of Muslims are peaceful, with only a tiny fraction who indulge in extremism. May I ask you a question? You've just been making a video. What's your impression? It's super, just fantastic. What's it like to be here in this traditional... It's a bit too long, but otherwise super. The Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs in Oman oversees all religious communities, and it encourages dialogue and discussion among the various religions, with the aim of raising awareness of the ethics, morality, and sense of justice which they have in common. Not only Muslims live in Oman. Many guest workers from the Far East, India or Europe are followers of other religions. As a result of the Ibadi principle of religious tolerance, both in the past and also today, they have never been discriminated against. Today, the state guarantees the free practice of religion. It is forbidden to proselytize, even for Muslim believers. As a result, the most varied religions can be found in Muscat, the capital of the country. Here, Catholics, Protestants, Hindus, Copts, Buddhists and Orthodox Christians can be found at prayer next door to one another.
Good evening, my dear brothers and sisters. Good evening. One God forever and ever.
Here we have a very good freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of thoughts. It's one of the best nations among the GCC which I have found. I have traveled across Europe, US, and being an Indian, experienced Christianity in India also, but I find here it's very liberal and very...
Open country here,
yeah,
open country,
nice
not
here.
same
It's nice
as...
here. It's an open country.
Open country.
Yeah, it's very nice here and peaceful.
Yeah.
Every Friday we come here, every Friday. So some people, they come every day. Yes.
On Fridays, most believers gather here. In Oman, Friday is the day of rest and relaxation, the equivalent of Sunday in the Christian world.
Let us bow our heads, close our eyes, and look to our prayer answering, miracle working, only living God in prayer. Lord Jesus, we come to you with an evening's blessing to seal within our hearts the inspirations and memories of this day. Today does not look any different than yesterday. Our circumstances have not changed, but slowly and surely your word is taking root in our hearts, and in it we have confident rest.
You know, one of the amazing things for me as an American is that the people celebrate Christmas, and actually we can go out to the hospitals with a choir and sing Christian Christmas carols. We can't do that in the United States. You know, in the schools, they talk about Christmas, they have Christmas programs. In the United States, we have holiday programs. We can't even have Christmas programs. So, I mean, in some ways, here we are in a Muslim country, and we have as much freedom, and in some areas, actually more freedom than we have in our own.
Right next door, the largest religious community apart from the Muslims, the Hindus, gather for prayers.
Yeah, because it is very friendly. The people here are very hospitable. They are very friendly to Indian people. The culture here is a mixed culture. They respect other countries' culture also.
No, actually the freedom for everything, actually the religious freedom, anything. You know, the freedom is there, I think, more than other Gulf countries. Yeah.
Kann man sich das in Deutschland vorstellen?
Can you imagine such a situation in Germany?
Das kann mir nicht vorstellen.
No, I can't imagine it.
Hindus
and all Orthodox persuasions, Protestants and Catholics, all within an area of perhaps a quarter of a kilometre. Where else in the world can you find that? It's policy here that all other religions have the possibility to satisfy their needs, through their feelings, through religious ritual, the right to practice their religion without compulsion or fear.
Ohne Angst und ohne irgendwas, ja.
The widespread negative attitude toward Islam in the Western world is often based on pictures of women behind veils, which trigger feelings of vague unease. They cannot be seen through, and we automatically assume the women must be oppressed and lacking in rights. But Islamic dress is not necessarily a sign of oppression. Women's contribution to the building of a modern state in the Sultanate is every bit as important as that of men.
Actually, we're pretty relaxed with the rules here in Oman. We don't. You might see it as restrictions, but actually, it's not a restriction to us. We are relaxed with the way we are living. A woman is as free as man in everything she does and any job she takes. So that's the thing.
You can choose whatever you want.
Yeah, I can choose whatever I want to do. If you take a look, you can see soldiers who are women. A policewoman, we have 3 ministers currently. So I believe women has an equal right as men here in Oman.
You agree?
Yeah, sure. We have the freedom of speech. We can talk anytime we want.
And you can wear what you want, or is it just?
Yeah, we can wear what we want. But as a Muslim, we wear the full dress, like a scarf and